A lot of people have come, everybody enjoys, we enjoy. This has become a sanctuary for us, sanctuary for others to learn meditation, to um, practice being peaceful. There is no charge across the board. The organization, the parent organization is Brahma Kumaris. We have centers everywhere in the world, pretty much thousands of centers, thousands, hundreds of countries, but nowhere is there any charge to any of the courses. And the reason for that is because this is God's knowledge, if you will, and this is divine wisdom, and everybody is entitled to it. Nobody should be deprived of it just because they can't afford it. And also, there is really no price that you can put to inner peace. Really, it's your own inner peace. So I can't sell you your own inner peace. That's why there is no monetary charges to this whole thing. But you're welcome to contribute in any way you like, support it. In fact, the biggest support is just creating more positive energy. Like one thing leads to the next, and wherever you are, if you can take the positive energy that you get when you are here and spread it to the world, uh, that's a lot of good thing right there. That's it. And so, shall we do some meditation? Please, you would take us through. So we usually start all sessions with some meditation to help us settle down. Right? You said settle down and prepare for meditation. That's very important. And we'll tell you why that is important in a little bit. One second, I'm just trying to get the music.
Yes, before we start the session, I would request you to check your cell phones and turn them off.
Yeah. I'll dim the light so that it's better. This is too bright.
So take a deep breath. Deep breath in. And relax. This is your time to let go of everything from the past. And just be in this present moment. You can keep your eyes open or closed, whatever you are comfortable with. The first step in meditation is relaxation. So relax all the muscles of your body as you breathe in and breathe out. If you feel tension in any part of your body, Just release and relax. Allow every muscle of your body to completely relax. And as your body begins to relax, very gently turn your attention to the center of your forehead. And visualize a spark of light here. And as you observe this light, give yourself a very powerful thought. I am a being of peace. I am a being of peace. Allow this thought to go deep into the core of your being. Till you begin to feel the energy of peace flowing in your mind. And as this energy of peace begins to flow in your mind, your mind begins to feel the power of peace. This light of peace begins to illuminate your mind. Filling your mind with peace. So take this moment to experience this beautiful energy that you just created in your mind. Let this peaceful energy flow in every cell of your body. relaxing and refreshing every cell of your body. And you begin to feel a wave of relaxation from the top of your head to the bottom of your feet. So make yourself completely relaxed as you continue to enjoy this peaceful energy. If you notice your mind at this point, you begin to feel very light, very calm, very quiet, very still. So hold on to this beautiful energy of peace. And very gently bring yourself back to the awareness of this room. Here and now. Om Shanti.
Hope you had a good experience. So today we'll try to take you through leave the music in. That will feel good. Today we'll take you through the very basics of Raj Yoga, the course that we normally call it as a Raj Yoga meditation course. It's at least 7 sessions that we gotta teach, and each session builds upon the previous one, and we go deeper and deeper into what this meditation is all about and how to practice it. So, but today we'll give you an overview of the whole thing. So I want to start with telling you about my own story and our story and how this all started 20 years back, and why we got associated with Brahma Kumaris. So 20 some years back, when we were in medical school, we are both physicians. We were in India, and I personally saw a lot of suffering and pain in the patients that I was taking care of. She saw the same, and we would see people dying because there were no medicine, sometimes no blood, sometimes there wasn't enough food, and it really hurt me deep inside to see this happening all around. Before that, I had read the story of Gautam Buddha before he became Gautam Buddha. The Prince Siddhartha was his name, right? And so he was a child, and so once he was going out and he saw a poor man begging for food. Then he saw somebody suffering from leprosy. Then he saw somebody being the body being taken for cremation, and so he asked the charioteer who was taking him around the kingdom, said, "Why is all this happening, and what can I do?" And the charioteer had no answers to this. He said, "That's the truth of life, and we all have to die. We all have to see disease. We all have to see problems and poverty sometimes, and so on and so forth." But this didn't give him this. This didn't give him satisfactory answer. So he wanted to search for more, and the same thing happened for us actually. That we realized that there's something more to life. There's some answers to questions that need to be explored. And at the same time, I also found that clearly, even at that young age, that external happiness, the things that we search for in the world out there to give us, moments of happiness, but those moments of happiness are very fleeting, and actually, paradoxically, the more we search for happiness in the world out there, the more that gives us pain and suffering. So I wanted to explore where I can find that true peace, true happiness, because I realized that it is not possible. It just doesn't make sense that this is how world is intended to exist. It didn't seem right that this is how life is supposed to be, filled with pain, suffering, and disease and death and all that. And so I happened to come to know about the Brahma Kumaris, and that's how we both started going. And then we realized that there is the ultimate truth of life. And I'm not trying to say that this meditation is better than any other or anything like that, but what we can teach you is the Brahma Kumari's Raj Yoga meditation.
Yeah, we were fortunate to have the meditation center very close to our medical school over there. That's why we used to go there every single day.
Yeah, and we experienced a lot of peace, we learned a lot, and the journey began from there. And rest is history, if you will. Huh? And so I think the most important thing that we need to understand if we want to really free ourselves from the pain and suffering of what we think is the reality of life, is to understand the distinction between the life force that we are and the external world or external appearance in the external world that we live in. What that means is the realization, first is the understanding and then the realization of who we really are.
Even before that, maybe we can ask whoever has come here what you're looking for in this meditation.
Sure.
What do you want to gain from this?
So what brought you here in a way, right? What are you looking for?
Seeking peace.
Seeking
Peace.
peace.
Peace, inner peace.
Yeah,
Inner
right.
peace.
What about you, Linda?
Just, I used to meditate before and found that peacefulness and fell off the meditation wagon. So I'm just trying to get back on
Yeah.
and feel those feelings of contentment again.
True. Would you like to share?
No.
That's fine.
She is very curious. I know that she wants to learn. I think that has brought her here. Right?
Yeah.
So to understand that, apart from the physical manifestation of our reality, which seems so real, right? We look at the mirror and we see this physical body. We see houses and roads and cars and trees and mountains and so on and so forth. That is the physical world. But beyond that, if you will, or parallel to that, is our spiritual existence. What that means is there is, if you look at the word human being, for example, human and being are two words in that phrase. So human word comes from the Latin word humus, which means soil. So this body has come from the soil, will go back to the soil. But there is a being component too. In general, the life that we lead, we constantly are stuck in the physical dimension of our existence, the humus, the body. But there is the being component. The being is the life force, the energy, the soul, the spirit that we all are. And if you look at this a little deeply, when we say, I am, what are we really saying who that I am is? When people are asked, they right away tell their name, they tell their profession, they tell their roles that they play in the world out there, their relationships, and so on and so forth. But those are all in the physical dimension of our existence. And therefore, the very important thing to understand is in this physical dimension there is constant change. Oxymoron, right? This is constant change. Everything is constantly changing. And the more we stay in this physical dimension of our existence, the more there is fear and anxiety. The moment we shift our awareness to the spiritual dimension of our existence, that is, we are souls, spirits, life force, energy. Energy that is non-destructible, that is eternal, that cannot be really measured, that cannot be weighed, that cannot be destroyed by any form whatsoever. So if I consider myself to be that life force, to be that soul, then all the fears and anxieties go away. So this disconnection between the life force and our physical existence is what is the source of all our miseries. Reconnecting the spiritual dimension with the physical dimension is Raja Yoga.
Maybe we can go over this Raja Yoga meditation. Maybe we can separate it. Talk about meditation, then yoga, and then Raja.
Absolutely.
Right? That way it will be easy for them to understand.
Absolutely. So why don't you take us through that?
So meditation, as we know, this is the buzzing word in today's world, right? People are running after meditation because now there is this growing awareness that meditation is definitely, it's needed, right? One day, I was listening to someone, and this guy was saying that, I really want to see, the vision that he was sharing was very beautiful. He was saying that, just like people in today's world, they know that brushing their teeth is so important. And similarly, there should be this awareness that meditation is as important as brushing the teeth. So that awareness has to be there because meditation is such a beautiful tool to keep ourselves healthy. Right? So meditation word actually, there is this meditation and medication, both the words, they're so close. So this word has come from Latin word medere or meditare, that means to heal and also to contemplate. So when we start to meditate on a regular basis, just like people when they have sickness in the physical body, they take medicines on a regular basis, right? Especially if the sickness is really bad, like diabetic patients, they have to take the medicines for a long period of time. Similarly, what has happened over time, that the soul, that Shetang was talking about, the spiritual energy, that energy has become really, really very low. That means the soul has become sick. So if the soul has become sick, then we need to give the medicine to the soul. And what is the medicine to the soul? It is meditation. That means you have to really go deep inside and you need to contemplate. You need to talk to your mind. Meditation is about having a dialogue with your mind. Your mind also needs we create one single day. And thought is what? Thought is actually the energy that we create in our minds. So we are wasting our energy throughout the day if we are creating so many different types of thoughts and most of them are useless, not necessary, waste. And I like the analogy that you use every time many times I have seen you using that analogy of refrigerator. Can you tell that?
Yeah, yeah. No, I just say that if you have food, even if it's great food, very high quality organic food, and you kept it in the fridge or freezer for months or years, Right, that's what you're talking about.
Mhm.
You wouldn't eat it, right? You wouldn't want to eat it, even if somebody requests you. Oh, it's really good, it's high quality food, but because it has been sitting for so long, you wouldn't want to eat it. But for the mind, what she said, you said, right? Thoughts are food for the mind. But it mind needs fresh thoughts as food. And what we do is we feed it with thoughts of the past. Months or years back, something happened, and we keep reliving that experience. It's giving it stale food. That's why the mind doesn't remain healthy. So it's healing the mind, and I just wanted to take a little more time on that. That from a physician point of view, I can tell you that the the kind of diseases that we are seeing now, it's mind-boggling, kind of things that we had never heard of. In fact, even in medical school, in our books, like there are certain cancers you would only see after a certain age. Then you see now these cancers happening at 15, 16, 17 years of age. Sometimes, as diseases manifest in ways you can never imagine nowadays. Even doctors are perplexed, and then patients get upset that why is the doctor not able to diagnose it? Doctors can only do so much, because the disease manifests in so many different ways. And all this we are now realizing that somewhere, if the mind is not healthy, the body cannot be healthy. The psychosomatic illnesses, so to speak, right? So comes from psyche, the mind. Somatic means body, effect of mind on the body. And everything now we are finding, like simple things like fibromyalgia. It has become a buzzword now, right? Everybody talks about, oh, I have fibromyalgia. Or they talk about irritable bowel syndrome. And it has become so common. Every second person has this problem. But what is it? These are all fancy names to a mind that is not happy, not
And we
happy.
can say that, these are all labels.
Labels, yeah.
Labels. I am diabetic.
Yeah, that too.
You
Yeah,
know,
well,
right?
that is one thing when we talk
Yeah.
about, who am I?
Right,
Yeah,
we talked about it, right?
right.
Name and nationality and race, and now this also, people add I am diabetic and they identify themselves with all these diseases.
I'm hypertensive, I'm
Yeah.
heart patient. No, you have heart disease. You are not a heart patient. You have diabetes, but you are not diabetic. Right? If that makes sense, because that's when people get so stuck in these identities. But going back to to that thing, I've seen that in my personal interviews with patients, Ganesha's research in this matter, that if you look at people with these chronic illnesses and these rare cancers and other problems, you find there is something in the mind that was not right. Maybe childhood trauma, abuse, relationship with the spouse that was not good, or something of that sort, where people hold on to negative energy and they don't have a way to actually process it, right? Because whatever comes our way, we have to somehow learn the art of processing it, and either getting rid of it if that is truly wasteful, or keeping what is right for us and making the best use of it. So Raja Yoga, again, this meditation gives us the tools, the necessary uh, know-how sort of thing for handling these things, handling negativity that comes our way. So there is this body of knowledge, body of understanding that goes along with this meditation. There's a theory behind the practice, and the 7 days course, and then beyond too, we go through that theory. And so the first aspect of this theory is that we are souls. We are nothing but souls, really. And that total shift of our consciousness from the physical existence to the spiritual existence of each one of us. You think of it, yeah, thought you wanted to say, going back to, I am Shwetank, I am this, I am that, I'm Indian, I'm Japanese, I'm European, I'm tall, I'm short, I'm good looking, I'm not good looking, I'm smart, I'm dumb, right? It just goes on, right? And then we get stuck in those identities. And what happens very interestingly is that we begin to express those qualities of the identity that we have identified ourselves as. So if somebody is carrying that identity that I am a female, so we'll behave like a female, right? We'll wear female clothes, and if it's in a female body, but yet thinks that I'm a male, will start wearing male clothes, and so on and so forth. If somebody has identified himself as a Christian, will go to a church. Somebody identifies himself or herself as a Jew, will then go to a synagogue, and so on and so forth, right? So we begin to kind of gravitate towards the identities that we sort of identify ourselves with, what we think is our reality. And then that's where the tussle starts. Nothing is permanent, things are constantly changing. As things change, then if you are so stuck in that, like there's this story of a magician who has a parrot and all his life is in the parrot dies, the magician dies. And that's truth, I had shared this earlier too. There was a surgeon, a very famous surgeon I know of, and he kept on working till he was 70, 75, and then he was in perfect health, and he kept doing it. Then one day he said, all right, I'll retire. Everybody's telling me that I should retire. He retired, and within 6 months he died. Because if he's not a surgeon, then he's nothing, sort of. So he had identified himself as that surgeon. So instead of now going into these different identities which are constantly changing, why not go into this identity that is constant, eternal, never changing?
I think this is what we call as truth.
The truth, the
Truth,
final truth really.
Yeah,
The
truth
ultimate
means
truth.
truth means that it does not change.
Correct.
That is what is truth.
Your ultimate reality,
Yeah.
that you are a point of light.
Yeah. And that
Yeah,
spiritual being, we understand that spiritual being as a point of light.
Not a physical light. We kind of like this, but not physical, just metaphysical, beyond physical. Just pure consciousness is what we are. And this pure consciousness, the qualities of this pure consciousness is peace, love, kindness, compassion, respect, generosity. You see, these are inherent to the energy that we are. So as soon as we identify ourselves with this, immediately we begin to express and gravitate towards these qualities.
So understanding that these qualities are in the soul, they are not in the body.
Yeah.
So I always give the example of, that if you want peace, then you have to go to the right place to get it. For example, if you want a vegetable, maybe a particular vegetable, but if you are going to a bookshop, will you be able to get the vegetable there? No. In the bookshop you will get only books, no vegetables there.
Yeah.
So similarly, if you're looking for peace, then you have to go to the right source. And that the source is the soul, not the physical body, not the outside world, but you have to go within. Because the soul is, that world is very beautiful, inner world. In meditation, we explore that world. And then we begin to experience that peace that resides within.
The peace that we already are.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
And also there is a story of that queen we always tell, right? That this queen had a precious necklace that got lost, and then she was, searching for it everywhere, and then she was not able to find it. With great disappointment, she thought that she had lost it, and then she happened to see herself in front of the mirror, and then she saw that she was actually wearing it around her neck.
Yeah.
So peace is like that. Peace is inside us, but
So-
we are running after it everywhere. And it's the same thing, like, sometimes we wear these glasses, right? And we tend to forget, and then we tend to search for it, right? Where are my glasses? Where are my glasses? It happens, right? So it's the same thing, peace is within. We are peaceful beings. We just have to remember. We have forgotten our original nature. Peace is our original nature.
Thank you. Yeah. So again, just want to take us back to this. See, in this physical world, if you look at, there is always limitation as well. You can only run so fast. You can only eat so much. You can only have so much. So apart from anxiety and worry that things could be taken away because there is change, there's also competition, and there is selfishness. It's me over others, right? And I was saying that last time too. How much in our 24 hours do we think about others? Truly, all along have been kind of programmed to worry about, think about ourselves, sort of. Even when we worry about our loved ones, it's really for ourselves. Right? There's an intense kind of selfishness around or associated when we identify ourselves as physical constructs. But if we take ourselves from that into this, automatically there's selflessness, there's love, there is kindness, there's generosity, there's respect, there's compassion that begins to express from the soul. And when it think of it, if you as a person are expressing selfishness and more and snatching away from others and always worrying, always anxious, versus you now expressing all these wonderful qualities, which one do you think people around you will like? Clearly the other one, right? The second one. So see, immediately you begin to develop good relationships with people. So when we look at the World Health Organization definition of health, the original one was, it's a state of perfect physical, mental, and social well-being. Right? So physical, so if you are 100% healthy physically, but mentally you're not happy, that doesn't help. If you're physically and mentally happy, but you do not have good relationships with people, you're not able to, live with people around you in a meaningful relationship, then that's not health either. So what meditation does is, especially the practice of Raj Yoga that we have been doing, it helps us go completely from this physical existence to this spiritual existence, non-physical existence, and helps us express very naturally the qualities that exist within the soul. Nice. Any questions so far? This is really the initial part of it. And so you talked about meditation, and then you talk about Raja and Yoga.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
And
before that, anybody has anything to ask, comment? So far, everything is making sense? All right.
And we often use this analogy of car and driver when we see of the soul and the body, the connection. The second word that we are going to explore now is yoga. So yoga means, usually people when they think about this word yoga, what comes in your mind is all the postures and all those things, right? But the exact meaning of yoga, this word has come from the Sanskrit word yog, yuj, that means connection. So connection with the soul that I am. So when I start to connect with the soul that I am, then I begin to experience the inner peace that I am yearning for. Like I was saying before, We have to go to the right place to experience inner peace. So the connection has to be accurate. So we connect with the soul. We use this analogy of car and driver. That connection, the soul and the body, they are connected just like car and driver. They are connected to each other. A car cannot do anything without the driver, and driver cannot do anything without the car. So both of them are connected. But the awareness that has to be there is that I am not the car, I am not this physical body, but I am a driver who is actually driving this physical body. So what has happened in today's world, everyone think that I am this body. That means I am a car. Right? And I have a soul somewhere in the body. Right? But it is not right. It is the other way around. If somebody is saying, I am car, I am car, I am car, what will you call that person? I am not driver, but I am a car. I am a car. Everyone will call that person as maybe you've gone crazy or what. So everyone in today's world actually have become gone crazy because they have lost their identity, true identity. We are drivers actually, driving this physical body. So we need to take care of both, the car and the driver. But what has happened? Nowadays, people, they are focusing more on the car, that is the body. And they have totally forgotten, they have totally ignored, almost ignored the poor driver who is running the car throughout the day, and that driver is not getting any food. He's become hungry. Think about it. The driver is running the car throughout the day without any food, any drink. What will happen to that driver? After a certain point, he'll be exhausted. He'll collapse. Right? So this is the condition of the soul. The soul has really become very sick. Because again, coming back to the same thing, that the soul is not getting the right food. So this analogy that I, the soul, am a driver, sitting where? Where do I sit? Just like in a car, driver has a designated seat. Similarly, the soul in this body has a designated seat. So we say that the soul sits here at the center of the forehead. That energy, soul is the energy. So that energy is concentrated here at the center. So that's why when we meditate, then we focus on this point, the center point. That
And
means
it's
we are,
not like a hard focus. It's a gentle focus.
yeah, don't have to really, because sometimes people they say that, oh, I got a headache because I was focusing here. So it's not that you have to really, just go there. but-
Intensely do
yeah.
anything like that. Just the shift in awareness.
It's all about awareness that I am not this physical body, but I am being. And that being is,
It resides here, right? It's the light here. So shall we do a quick
Yeah, sure.
experience? Mhm. Everybody is ready? So all I need you to do is, for just a moment or so, forget your body. Just for a very short period of time. Nothing will happen to the body, don't worry. It'll still stay here. And forget everything that is associated with this body. The physical world that you're so familiar with. And nothing will happen to that either. Don't worry. I assure you. And now, remind yourself that you are a soul, a point of light that's inherently peaceful, inherently loving, inherently kind. And you exist at the center of your forehead. That is your seat. That's your control room, if you will. You're not the eyes that you see through. You're not the mouth that you use to speak. You're not the ears that you use to listen to things around you. You're not the hands that you use to reach out, to grab things, and so on and so forth. You're definitely not the body, the name, the roles that you play, the religion that you practice, the profession that you practice as well. You're simply a point of light. A point of gentle, sweet light. Feel as if the center of your forehead has gotten lit up. Like you have those dolls and toys, some of which have an inner light which you switch on and the whole toy lights up. So right now you're switching on the awareness that you are a soul. And immediately the center of your forehead lights up. And the very next moment you begin to express the natural qualities of the soul that you are. Feel as if in this moment waves of peace, waves of kindness, waves of love and compassion are beginning to flow from the center of your forehead, filling your entire body, then beginning to exude out of your body into the space around you. You can see the spread of these qualities to as far as you want, beyond this room, beyond this town, beyond this entire country, beyond even this entire world that you have learned about, into the entire universe if you want. Suddenly, as soon as you have switched on that switch of awareness, you experience a state of mastery. Mastery over the self. Mastery over your own mind. Mastery over your sense organs. Mastery over your body. A total sense of control that was always so elusive. You are able to experience it now. You are the king. You can now direct your mind to do what you want it to do, to go to places you want it to go, to stay and remain focused till whatever time you want. You now can instruct your eyes to see only what you want them to see. You can instruct now your ears to hear only what you want to hear. You can now instruct your mouth to speak only what you want it to speak. You are now in total control, expressing the highest qualities of human existence. Om Shanti. Wasn't that simple? You didn't want to come back, right? It's as easy as that. Just like when you walk into a room and you just have to switch on the light and the whole room gets flooded with light. You can see what you want to see, you can go to whatever corner of the room that you want to go to. Similarly, you just have to switch on this switch of awareness of who you really are. And suddenly, your entire life gets flooded with divine light. That shows you the way forward. You feel yourself being guided towards your purpose as soon as you switch on that switch of awareness. Right? Most of the times you feel you're not sure what is going on, right? Where do I go? What will happen next? But as simple as that, everything becomes clear.
So coming to the third word, Raja, that actually we covered during the meditation. The word Raja means king. So we are actually kings of our own mind. That is actually our true relationship of the soul and the mind, is that mind is the one actually who has to listen to whatever we tell the mind to do. That means we are masters of our own minds in reality. But over time what has happened? Mind has taken over. We have lost that.
Lost our control.
Yeah, the control has been lost. When we start to meditate, we had forgotten. So meditation, we say that, another meaning of yoga, we say that it is remembrance. Remembering that I am a soul, and also remembering that I am a master. I am a king of my own mind. That means I have full authority. Whatever I want from my mind to think, mind has to think that. Mind cannot go here and there. So when I start to learn this meditation, then I kind of create that kind of relationship with my mind, that my mind starts to listen to me.
Couldn't that be a good thing? Mind. A very senior meditation teacher once asked this question, where are you? Are you where your body is? Or are you where your mind is?
Although your body, even if your body is sitting here, but if your mind can go anywhere.
In other country.
Yeah. Which other country does your mind
Yeah,
go?
maybe in India.
Okay.
Yeah. And how much time does it take for your mind to go there?
1 second.
Yeah.
Right? So
So
mind
you're
is so
not really
powerful.
here then. You're in India. Yeah.
Yeah. So meditation actually, you know, meditation helps us to understand that our mind is really very powerful. It can go anywhere in a second. But if we guide our mind in the right direction, then we can really get a lot from our mind. Mind has the capacity to heal. Mind has the capacity to heal any kind of problems,
Any kind of trauma.
any kind of trauma. Yeah, people are holding on to so many things from the past. But if they learn how to use mind in a right way, then they can help themselves. Then they don't need to go to a doctor or anyone. The inner doctor is there, always available. You don't need any kind of appointment.
No
or-
elaborate bills.
Yeah, nothing. You just have to go there. At least that effort is needed. To knock inside.
Actually, there's no appointment needed, right? You can knock and go.
Yeah, you can go any time.
And even with appointment, how much time do you have to wait at the doctor's clinic? Usually average 2-3 hours, right? And then those tests which you have to schedule, and then how much time there, and then you keep getting the bills. Even if you have paid them, you still keep getting, right? Don't you? Don't you agree? And it's just so mind-boggling, you know. But did I pay? You go, oh, I'm sorry, we sent you another bill. But no, we'll take care of it. And 15 days later, you say another bill, the same thing. But here there are no bills, no appointments, no wait times. You just can go in to your inner doctor and seek the diagnosis, but also seek the treatment that is needed. Just wanted to say that also that something that you have done research on this. There's this whole term about post-traumatic stress disorder, right? PTSD. Everybody has heard this, and it has become really a big thing. In the past, PTSD was just for these people who would be deployed to these war
military,
zones,
yeah.
and then they would go through the trauma of death and this and that. And nowadays, it's so used so loosely. Somebody will sneeze next to somebody, oh, now I have PTSD. No, jokes apart, but really, small things are creating PTSD for people. A small accident, even a fender bender, oh, now I can't drive. There's so many people who say that, right? I had this little bit of accident, but you know what, now I'm so traumatized that I can't drive. Or a little bit of fire in the house, in the kitchen, no, I can't cook. I can't find my socks. I'm having PTSD. So,
That control has been lost,
yeah,
there's
the
no
energy,
control.
the soul, the strength of the soul has decreased so much. But on the other hand, actually, what we are, it's a jokes apart really, but what we are finding that the same trauma, however big the trauma is, it doesn't affect everyone the same way. So there's a huge spectrum of total disaster on one end, and of total recovery, and total,
Yeah, like some
rela-
people, if they got diagnosed with cancer, then that is not a trauma for them, but
Yeah.
that becomes a blessing for them.
Yeah,
Because-
so many people say that too. So they're able to process it in a way that it actually becomes a blessing, a boon for them. So on one hand, you see a total devastated state, and something that allows you to grow spiritually, and that's why the term post-traumatic spiritual growth.
But actually, this word I used in my research, that even this word is not right, post-traumatic spiritual growth, because if they're really growing spiritually, then they don't see the, whatever they go through as a trauma.
Yeah,
So that
See-
is not really trauma for them. That is
Post-situational, spiritual,
whatever.
PSSD or P whatever
Something like-
situation that happened,
Yeah, post-cancer spiritual growth, like for example.
or post-fire spiritual growth, or post-sneezing spiritual growth, right?
Just an
Something.
experience.
Just an
Whatever
post-experience spiritual growth. You can name what, but what research is now finding, it's not something out there. It is how we process it, is what then leads to the outcome. Complete recovery or complete devastation. So what is that thing that
It's our
influences
choice
our,
actually. It's
our
our
outcome?
choice.
Our outcome, yeah, it's our choice. Yeah, that's a very good thought. But this processing, ability to process, if the mind is not healthy, then these things are processed in the wrong way. Even it's just like when our intestines are not healthy, it can't digest food, right? Similarly, mind, if it's not healthy, it cannot digest it, right? These situations. So how can I make my mind healthy? How can I make my mind stronger? Is taking myself again from this physical dimension of my existence back to my spiritual dimension of existence. I am a soul, a pure, loving, kind, respecting, happy soul.
This is the pure food for the mind. Spiritual thoughts, they carry highest energy. In food also we say, high nutrient dense food, that is the healthiest food for the body. Right?
Right there and then. That's
Nutrient dense, that's what they call as
new
food.
terms.
So similarly, this spiritual thought that I am a soul and I have this physical body. And I, the soul, am eternal. I, the soul, am imperishable. I, the soul, am peaceful. All these thoughts, they are very high energy. They have a lot of energy and they empower the soul and empower the mind. So this is the reason why in meditation we kind of first remember that this is who I am, and then we kind of go deeper into that experience. Not just remembering, yes, of course, I need to remember first that this is who I am, turning on that switch of awareness, and then slowly going into the experience. You need to experience so that that experience will then help you.
Strengthen.
Yeah,
Strengthen
that
your
experience
practice.
will strengthen the practice, and also that experience will actually motivate you
Yeah.
to move forward. Then you would like to have more and more and more. Then you will not feel like, oh, okay, today I am doing meditation for a few minutes. Maybe
It
I'll
won't feel like a chore.
yeah, maybe I'll do it later. Maybe I'll do it maybe 2 days after. No, you will feel like, yes, I need to do it regularly because I'm getting so beautiful experience out of it. So meditation that we practice, we say that this is open-eyed meditation. Why open-eyed meditation? Because we say that we have to be aware that I am a soul all the time. And if I practice seeing myself as a soul only when I close my eyes, then what will happen? Throughout the day, what will happen? I cannot close my eyes and do my dishes, or I cannot close my eyes and drive my car. Right? That awareness has to be there throughout the day. So that means we have to make this meditation part of our life. This is who I am. I have to be aware that I am a soul throughout the day. So if we keep our eyes open, that will help us to maintain that awareness throughout the day. So I am in that state of mind, peaceful state of mind. Not momentarily, only when I am doing meditation, sitting and doing meditation for a few minutes. But I am able to experience that everlasting happiness, not just temporary, but everlasting happiness.
That should be the goal. Yeah.
That is our goal. in
And so,
meditation.
so constant practice is important because we have programmed our minds to constantly think of ourselves as these physical identities, these temporary identities. So there's going to be a little bit of effort to take ourselves completely from that to this. So the only way we can do that, and actually that's what mind likes, is repetition. And even as children, that's how it was: A for apple, B for banana, C for cat, D for dog. It was repetition, and those tables, right? 2 times 2 is 4, 4 times 4 is 8, and just kept on repeating, and that's how the mind gets programmed. You are Naina, you're Debbie, you're this, I'm Shweta. We keep saying, and people kept saying as the child was born. The child was born really, and when the child is born, he's really nameless, genderless, religionless.
Yeah. And right there when the child is born, actually identity crisis starts because
Yeah.
everyone asks, oh, is it a boy or a girl?
Yeah.
So gender discrimination starts right there.
Yeah, exactly. Because the child, for example, doesn't care, it'll go to everyone. Will not think about whether it's white or black or brown or green or whatever, and will not think whether it's Hindu or Muslim or Jew or what, old
So
or young,
innocent. Child
or
is so
good looking or
innocent.
not good looking, or, things like that, or dumb or smart. The child doesn't discriminate. But over time, we have programmed ourselves later on, but initially the world programs us. You are this, you are this, you are this, you are this, and then that sticks on to us. But now what we have to do? Unlearn that, and at the same time relearn who we truly are. And that too will need constant repetition. I am a soul, I am a soul, I am a child of God, I am a very worthy soul, I am a worthy child of God, so on and so forth. I am a peaceful soul, I am a kind soul, I am a loving soul. I'm a
And
caring
whatever you
soul.
do throughout the day, you say to yourself, I, the soul, am using my hands to drive my car. I, the soul, am using my hands to wash the dishes. So that awareness, if you maintain that constant awareness, that way you will feel less tired, because that soul, you will get the energy from the soul throughout the day. Because then your mind will not go towards waste thoughts. Because now what mind is thinking is that the spiritual thought that you are creating in your mind. That will empower your mind and you will not feel tired. Why people feel tired by the end of the day? Because
Thoughts.
Yeah.
65
It's,
thoughts.
yeah, it's not because of the type of work that they do, but because of the type of thoughts that they create throughout the day. That makes them exhausted, not just tired, but exhausted. But if you just give yourself some time every day, how do you start your day in the morning time? The first thought, what is the first thought that you have as soon as you open your eyes?
Oh, I'll have to go back to work. One more day, seeing my boss.
Oh, another day to go, right? But if you start your day with, this, like greeting yourself, oh, good morning, the soul. If you're wishing, it's like you are creating that relationship. So you have to really talk to that being that you are. Say good morning to the
Create a
soul.
good relationship
Yeah.
with the self,
Right.
friendship with the self.
So greet the soul the first thing in the morning. Then the soul will be happy with you, will cooperate with you throughout the day. And then another thing that we understand in Raj Yoga meditation is connection with the divine energy. The connection with the self, the soul, and the connection with, we say that is the supreme soul,
The highest
the
consciousness.
highest consciousness. So we make that connection, and how we make that connection, we will talk about that maybe in another session.
But as
Yes.
simple as that, understanding that God is my Father, God is
Yeah.
our Father, God is our Mother as well. It's a supreme parent, creating that relationship with God, and thinking of ourselves as a child of God. Understanding that I, the soul, am a point of light, God is a point of light, hence that point-to-point connection. And the reason that is very important is because that then empowers the soul. It's like recharging the internal battery. Just like we charge our cell phones and make sure that we don't leave our houses without 100% charged batteries, right? Or if you have Tesla car, you'd like to have that 100% charge before you leave. So how about leaving our homes, our beds, or our bedrooms by making sure we are 100% charged by the energy of God?
And also we say that God is the ocean, ocean of peace. So when we connect to the ocean, then we will never run out of peace, right? Because we have direct connection with the ocean. And when your tap is directly connected to the ocean, you will never run out of water. It's the same here. We connect to that ocean, ocean of peace, and then we have enough stock throughout the day. The moment there is disconnection with that ocean, then we run short of it, and then we become peaceless.
Yeah, and Raj Yoga, actually, when we do the session on God, we'll talk more about it, that it is not the God that we have kind of misconstrued, that really organized medicine, or not medicine, organized religion has created this fear about God. It's not that God, is the God, one God, who is ever benevolent, ever kind, altruistic, selfless. That's the energy that we're connecting to, and it's recharging ourselves. And so we do need that energy, to be able to take care of this external chatter and then this internal chatter that goes on. And again, there is so much of inner wisdom within us, that inner wisdom, inner doctor, inner advisor, how we want to look at it, that we really don't need anything out there to give us any kind of fulfilling experience. It's all within us. But the only way to tap into it is when we are able to quieten this chatter, external chatter and internal chatter. That requires power. And connecting to God allows that energy, allows that power to flow into us. And that empowered state is what gives us that fulfilling experience. So I can assure you this journey has been fantastic in these past 20 years. They say it is not about destination, it's all about the journey. But yeah, journey and destination both are important, and it's a beautiful experience to see yourself transform. To transform from being a puppet of the world out there. The world can control me. The world can, like, that's what happens. How long does it take for people to push your buttons? Right? Very quickly, right? How long does it take for people to make you feel upset, unworthy? Right? You walk into a space and I don't know if they are all having an intense discussion and they don't acknowledge your presence, they ignore you. What is the first thought that comes? Am I not worthy enough? Immediately, right? So the world out there overpowers us so easily. We are merely puppets in the hands of the world out there. But that's not a good life. That's not how we were designed to be. That's not how God wants to see us. So, how does God want to see us? Totally empowered, perfectly in control, in charge. And that's what Raj Yoga helps us to do and become.
And another meaning of this word Raj means secret. So as we explore, as we move forward in this journey, we begin to understand many secrets of life. Not only that I am a soul, yes, definitely that is a big understanding in itself, but there are many other things that we understand in this Raj Yoga meditation course that we offer.
One of which is, can we talk about time for a moment? Just for a moment? Yeah, we have little bit, few more minutes.
Yeah, sure.
So time is another aspect that we understand. We past, present and future, and we constantly remain in the past. We take experiences from the past, project them into the future, and then we start living in the future too. Right? Then we go vacillate between past and future, and that's not a very happy situation either. So what Raj Yoga teaches us is to bring ourselves to here and now, to this moment. In this moment we can do everything that we want. This moment has all the wisdom that we need to guide us towards our purpose. It has all the healing energy that we need to take care of ourselves. But only if we stay in this moment. Right? Says, there are several taps, and there's water. There's this tap that has water. The rest of the taps don't have water. They're not connected. You stand in front of the other taps, you'll never get water. That's what we do. And we're constantly depriving ourselves of the healing energy of the moment and the wisdom of the moment. So bringing ourselves to here and now. And then another very important aspect is the
Of
karma.
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 We talk about, so we say that this is not just Raja Yoga, but it is also Karma Yoga. We use this word Karma Yoga. That means whatever actions we are doing, we do it in the remembrance that I am a soul and I am connected with that ocean. So my karma means actions. So whatever actions I do, then I'll do, every action that I'll do in God's remembrance. That means God's energy will flow through me. It means I will do the right actions. Because now who is guiding me to perform that action? It's God's energy is guiding me. So this is a beautiful word, Karma Yoga. Performing every action in remembrance of God.
Because as you sow, so shall you reap, right? They talk about in Christianity too. So if I want great outcomes, if I want a good cake, I have to put in good ingredients. So I have to put in good actions to get the maximum fruit, the best fruit possible. Right? Who doesn't want happiness, right? But if I don't do things which would generate happiness, then how will I get happiness? If I'm constantly, again, all these are so interconnected, if I'm constantly stuck in this physical dimension of my existence, where there is limitation, there is shortage, there is ever-changing environment, then I won't be selfless. I won't reach out to help others. I'll be just thinking about me and mine. And therefore, my actions will also not be of that high quality. Actually, it will be of very low quality. Whereas if I'm in this state, I'm constantly expressing God's qualities, the true qualities of the soul. Think of it. I'm giving peace to people, I'm giving love to people, versus I'm giving worry to people, stress to people, right? What do you think will come back to me here, and what do you think will come back to me here? That's the law of karma.
So we take you through all these lessons one by one. Law of karma is very vast and deep to understand. So every
So
session.
just a little bit of snapshots of
This-
each of these sessions.
This was just an overview of the course that we offer, Raj Yoga Meditation.
So did
course.
it seem simple enough, easy enough, or did it seem complicated?
It sounds easy, it requires discipline, and when you put that effort into it, you really do feel the difference. David told me that he's seen the difference in me.
David, you want to say something? Why not? Say what's
What
different.
difference did you see in Debbie?
Oh, she's a lot more at ease,
Mhm.
at ease in her own body
Right?
Yes.
and with herself.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing, yeah. So people around you begin to notice that. And how long has it been? A year and a half, you said, right?
Yeah, almost a year and a half now.
Yeah.
And she's really making efforts. She
Yeah.
comes here about 3 to 4 times a week,
Yeah.
and she absorbs the energy of this place. So she's able to.
And she's performing good actions too. So it comes around, tries to help, tries to serve in every way she can. And so then there is return that comes her way, very quickly. So effort, yes, and very nicely you said the word discipline again. Don't want it to come across as a hard discipline, but it is a little discipline too,
The more
just
you
like
put in, the better, the more you.
more get it. And everything is a discipline. Your music is a discipline. David plays the piano so beautifully, and last time he came and he played throughout that event and so beautifully did that. And but on a regular basis, every now and then we hear from Devi that he's gone for practice. It's not just he's playing, but he's practicing too. You practice your painting and all that every now and then. So everybody is doing some sort of discipline to be able to achieve something. You have to go to work at a certain time. You have to stay there for a certain number of hours. Is that discipline? Otherwise, you get kicked out, right? Which is not a happy situation. So there is discipline, but it's
I
not.
should have said habit. It's like forming a new habit.
Yeah, forming a new habit. But no, I like the word discipline, and thank you for saying that. But not a hard discipline, but a gentle, kind, understanding.